Right in the middle of producing Part 2 of this series, YouTube terminated Chris McDonough's channel for multiple or severe violations of harassment, bullying, or threatening. His followers went spastic. They blamed others but not McDonough for his own actions. This video will address the termination and reinstatement of Chris McDonough, how he falsely accused an innocent Twitter user, how he manipulated his followers, how he directed his followers to harass, bully, and threaten innocent social media users, and the legal ramifications of his reinstatement. We start with the amount of money McDonough was making from YouTube subscriptions and views. This does not include the astronomical amount of profit made from super chats and memberships. September 8, 2021, McDonough had approximately 10,000 subscribers with 1.5 million monthly views. 1.5 million times 0.004 equals $6,000 monthly income. As his subscribers and/or his views increase, so does the monthly income. Now, we will demonstrate one clear way in which McDonough manipulates his followers. He tells his followers they will analyze quote together unquote. Then, he states he will not be paying attention to the chat. This gives his viewers the false sense that his opinions are their opinions and that they had a part in the analyzing. He does this so subtly that his followers are unaware of what just happened. Please keep in mind, McDonough is a master manipulator. He has made his entire career from manipulating. It is not illegal for a detective to lie to individuals. It is common practice in investigations.
And what we're going to do is, together, we're going to analyze a lot of tweets. So what I'm not going to focus on right up front is, unfortunately, the chat, okay? Because I'm going to be really focused here tonight to show where I think the evidence is taking us.
He states, he will show where he thinks the evidence is taking quote us unquote. He's reinforcing that his idea of evidence is their idea of evidence and no one should question it. He is the only one capable of determining evidence, right? After all, he's the expert, right? Even though early in his career, a $7.2 million lawsuit was won against his bad evidence. The judge stated that the three boys were factually innocent, which is rare for a judge to state. To this day, McDonough has not admitted to his flawed interrogation tactics pertaining to the Michael Crow case.
The interrogation of Michael Crow was highly coercive and confrontational.
Just tell us what happened.
You keep asking me questions I can't answer. What do you want me to do?
Michael Crow is 14 years old, and he's recently learned that his sister, who he loves dearly, is dead.
I haven't lied to you.
He's told them repeatedly he didn't do this. They keep accusing him. They've been in this room with him for many hours.
The detective tells Crow he has a choice of two paths. If he doesn't confess, he'll be punished in an adult prison. If he does confess, he will get help. This is a lie.
There's two paths to travel. There's the path of punishment, or there's the path that says, hey, I'm sorry for what I did.
There's the path toward rehabilitation. If he makes the confession they're looking for, that he killed his sister.
We need to go down a path where we're going to help you work this problem out.
And his repentance will mean that he's not criminally charged or punished. If he doesn't, then he will go to a hardcore juvenile prison.
This two paths lie is an attempt to force Crow into confessing to the murder of his sister. Lies used in this highly coercive manner increase the risk of a suspect making a false confession. Another common tactic used in coercive interrogations is a sustained attack on a suspect's memory.
I don't remember what I did. I'm trying to tell you. You say I did it.
He's trying to tell them he has no memory, but they've beaten him down. He's crying. They're accusing him of selective memory.
I don't know.
And they're just coming back at him relentlessly.
I can't remember means I can't remember. I can't remember selectively is a little bit different.
And here they're trying to explain to him how he could have done this in the absence of having any memory, because he keeps saying, I didn't do it. I don't have any memory of this.
I think there's two parts to Michael.
There's a good Michael and there's a bad Michael. And the good Michael would never hurt or kill his sister. The bad Michael did it out of conscious awareness.
You're right, it's unconscious, but if I'm the good Michael right now, then the other is completely submerged. I can't remember.
What's really going on, though, here is that this is nothing short of child abuse. And he's having a breakdown. He's crying. He is psychologically tortured. This is a painful scene to watch. This is an egregious interrogation, absolutely awful interrogation.
The guy on the right in the interrogation is Chris McDonough. This was the same manipulation McDonough used on his YouTube followers in a milder but just as effective form. Implying, if you agree with me, you're one of the good guys. And, if you disagree with me, you're a troll and need to be chastised, berated, embarrassed, harassed, bullied, threatened, and doxxed. Good Michael gets help, but bad Michael gets punished.
My reaction was that they ripped out Michael Crow's heart on camera. It was the most horrible interrogation I've ever watched because of what they did to that child.
And the reason you have not heard directly from the police or district attorney in this story is because they have refused to comment on this case since the families of the teenage defendants filed a federal lawsuit against them. The suit seeks compensation for the harm done to their sons by illegal interrogations and the resulting false confessions. A year earlier, on the same night Stephanie was murdered, neighbors of the Crow family had complained to police about the intrusive behavior of a transient. Richard Raymond Tuitt, 28, was knocking on neighbors' doors looking for an old girlfriend.
This was such a strong DNA result that you could rule out anybody who ever walked on the planet Earth as a donor of this blood, except Stephanie Crow.
And Stephanie's blood on Tuitt's shirt seems set in a splatter pattern, one consistent with a violent stabbing. On the same day the case is dismissed, Detective Chris McDonough calls into this radio show to defend his role in the interrogation process.
I did not wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and sit down and say, you know what, today's the day I'm going to plant and frame Joshua Treadway for murder.
Well, I don't think that
ridiculous.
anybody, Detective McDonough, I don't think anybody is saying that this is born of hostility rather than stupidity.
McDonough would strike another YouTube content creator's channel for copyright violation just to obtain their personal information to be able to dox them. This way he could get their information without a search warrant and without probable cause. McDonough was in his glory not being required to prove to a judge probable cause. Doxing is publishing private or identifying information about a particular individual on the internet, typically with malicious intent. McDonough did not stop there. He would run a background check and contact his buddies in the FBI. Also, McDonough created a Discord account named Trolls to obtain IP addresses for individuals that he could not claim copyright violations on. Then, he could obtain their information by their IP address. Notice how Steve Johnson smirks when McDonough says, quote, because it gives you a place to vent, unquote.
If you're new to my channel, I have something just for you if you're trolls. Okay? It's my Discord channel. I actually have a room over there that you can go over there and, you know, just throw it everywhere you want. Okay, I'm good with that because it gives you a place to vent. Okay, and also I keep people saying, well, how come you turn off your comments? Because I don't think it's fair to Summer. Okay, that you get an opportunity as a sociopath to sit behind your keyboard and blast away at a 5-year-old little girl who's missing.
Steve Johnson very well knows McDonough is lying about the purpose of his Discord account. McDonough turned off his comments on his videos so his followers would not learn the truth about any of his wrongdoings and to encourage anyone that didn't agree with him to go into his Discord so he could obtain their IP address. It had absolutely nothing to do with Summer Wells. Then, he proceeds to call anyone that has an opinion that doesn't match his, a sociopath. Steve Johnson laughs at that. And, every viewer knows if they say the wrong thing, McDonough will deem them a sociopath. And, Steve Johnson will help chastise them.
And mods, if you can kind of take a look at some of these folks who are just, firing away. That's okay that they do, because that's the other reason I turn off the replay chat. So you just kind of become anonymous, as that guy says, right? You just go away. And like we said in the beginning, guilt or innocent it's not our responsibility, and nor will it ever be.
I agree with McDonough about his statement on guilt or innocence. He has no concern about innocence. We saw this in the Michael Crow interrogation. McDonough is out for convictions, not justice. Guilt, innocence, and justice doesn't play a part with him obtaining a conviction. It's scary that he was in our justice system for 40 years. Do you honestly think McDonough really cares about Summer Wells when he has no concern about guilt, innocence, and justice? Do you honestly think McDonough really cares about Summer Wells when he had no concern for innocent 14-year-old Michael Crow? McDonough targeted an innocent Twitter account, and that was the final blow of why his channel was terminated by YouTube. McDonough claimed the Twitter account was Brian Laundrie of the Gabby Petito case. He harassed, bullied, threatened, and attempted to dox the innocent Twitter user.
Now, this slide is addressed to Mr. Anonymous. You see, what hasn't happened here so far is we have a gentleman saying it's not him, so he's anonymous. Okay? So I don't know who Mr. Anonymous is yet. Okay? I'm following the evidence. The evidence speaks for itself currently. So please, Mr. Anonymous, don't send me an email from an encrypted end-to-end email server out of Switzerland and expect me to believe you. I'm just asking, why don't you just come out of the shadow, present your true identity, and prove you own the account?
McDonough admits he does not know the identity of the person that the Twitter account belongs to. He claims that it's evidence the account belongs to Brian Laundrie. McDonough wants the Twitter account user to prove to McDonough who he is. It's none of McDonough's business. McDonough has no authority.
If you're a former law enforcement officer, like you say you are, then I'm going to ask you to please call the FBI and have them call me. You haven't given me your true identity in terms of your ID number and your agency that I'm aware of, okay, that you said you worked at. Okay. Because of that, I feel that maybe, people are wondering about you, why you haven't fully been transparent.
No one on social media is obligated to be transparent to McDonough. McDonough is not above the law. Cyberbullying is a crime in most all states in the US. Yet, McDonough continues to goad the Twitter user into doxing himself to the world. McDonough's cyberbullying backfired and he was terminated from YouTube.
Okay. And what I want you to do tonight is collectively think through what you're going to see here tonight. Okay. And as we go through this, I want you to notice, a couple of things. I want to hear your opinions.
Quote, as we go through this, unquote, and, quote, I want to hear your opinions, unquote. McDonough, did you forget that you said you were not going to pay attention to the chat? Did you forget you turned off comments on your videos? Did you forget how many videos you chastised and berated your viewers in for having an opinion? Remember your Discord?
And I just want to also point out one other thing. People are here, dragging on this officer and the PD saying, had they done everything, the children would be alive. Okay. Well, let me point out something clearly. Okay. Tylee standing with her mother. And we're going to see that here in a couple of minutes. Okay. No matter what, if Alex is in custody, you think Lori's not going to kill her daughter? Let's take Alex in custody. Let's hypothesize and put him in custody. Alex is in custody. He's sitting in jail. Okay, JJ's still with her mother or stepmother, and so is Tylee. Okay, the cop didn't kill those children.
That's right.
The mother killed her children.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're just coming into my chat to troll me, Okay, I'm going to call you out. I always do this. I love it. You're more than welcome to come in, but you're not thinking through the problem. That's why it says homicide detective on my shirt.
McDonough berates his audience for having their own opinion. It's a tactic for others to be intimidated from posting the wrong viewpoint that McDonough doesn't agree with. He, further, tries to lead his viewers into believing that Lori shouldn't or wouldn't have been arrested as an accomplice along with Alex. McDonough claims Lori killed her children on her own. Yet, Lori has only been charged as an accomplice, which means she did not kill her children on her own. Nor has Lori been convicted. Alex wasn't charged because he was deceased when charges were issued. Most people believe that Alex was Lori's hitman. McDonough wants you to believe Lori would have killed her children without Alex, even though there is no evidence that she would have. The evidence is to the contrary. And, if Alex and Lori would have been incarcerated for the murder of Charles Vallow, then the children wouldn't have been murdered. Then, McDonough boasts that he is a homicide detective because his t-shirt says he is. There is an astronomical amount of evidence that says he is not a good homicide detective. But keep in mind, his t-shirt reference is to convince his audience that he is a good detective. He keeps reinforcing this in the minds of his followers to keep mind control.
Hey, so if you're here to troll me, feel free. Hey, but just remember, I'm the kind of guy that will call you out. And if you do it again, I'm going to put your name up, and I'll bang on you for 15 minutes with eye-roll. Okay? That's loony thinking. I mean, you should have a dark score if you're thinking like that. Yeah. In fact, the next troll I see put something up, I'm going to call you out and I'm going to give you a score, because you are doing exactly what Lori does to other people. Okay. So if you're welcome to troll my channel, but you're not prepared for the consequences. Trust me. Okay. Because I'm worried about, getting a fair trial now for Lori in terms of getting her convicted and thrown in prison.
Then, he has the audacity to gaslight his audience by insinuating they are loony if they have their own opinion. He tells them they are doing exactly what Lori does. Do you mean control and manipulate like you're doing, McDonough? And, you want to give dark scores like Chad and Lori were doing? Why don't you just call anyone you deem a troll, a zombie? Isn't gaining their personal information and doxing them your way of ridding the evil spirits? A troll is someone that comments just to cause discord. It is not someone that has a different opinion from yours. It is not someone that can think independently. McDonough, further, blames it onto his viewers that they are the reason Lori might not get a fair trial. Remember, this is the guy that said, quote, "It's not about guilt or innocence and never will be," unquote. He only cares about a conviction, not a fair trial. However, his manipulation tactics ceases to amaze me. How can McDonough say with a straight face that a viewer's opinion that if Lori and Alex would have been incarcerated the children would still be alive have anything to do with Lori not getting a fair trial? That viewer will not be on the jury. Now, we will continue with McDonough's harassment, bullying, and threats of the innocent Twitter user.
Today I was, supposed to, all the other videos were supposed to come down. Well, they're not. They're still there. Go look at them.
Nope, they're not there. The other videos about the Twitter user were not up at the time he posted his video stating they were. Notice how he stuttered through that lie? McDonough proceeds to pick apart every tweet of the innocent Twitter user's account, trying to prove to his followers that the account belongs to Brian Laundrie. And, he attempts to psychologically evaluate the Twitter user as having mental issues.
Okay. About RVs. Okay. So it looks like he's traveling, or this person is traveling. Okay. August 12th, 3:36. Don't let an inanimate object control your mental health. Never. So that is what I'm seeing as potentially the first indication that this individual is having potentially behavioral issues with, psychology.
Further, McDonough repeatedly tries to demonstrate throughout his video that the time of day the user chooses to tweet means that he is Brian Laundrie and that he has mental issues.
And you're going to notice a very succinct pattern here. Okay? You're going to see that these tweets go from afternoon to early morning to afternoon to early morning consistently.
McDonough subtly implies that the Twitter user is an alcoholic because he tweeted the Serenity Prayer. The Serenity Prayer is a prayer written by the American theologian Reinhold Niebuhr. Niebuhr composed the prayer in 1932-33. The prayer was adopted by Alcoholics Anonymous. It was, also, used in the 1944 Book of Prayers and Services for the Armed Forces. Notice how McDonough does not refer to the prayer as the Armed Forces Prayer, or, even, the Alcoholics Anonymous Prayer, but simply as the Alcoholics Prayer. Then he says, quote, right, unquote, to manipulate viewers into agreement.
On the 17th at 12:21, serenity, courage, wisdom. Post pictures that say, God grant me serenity. This is the, alcoholic's prayer, right?
In the next clip, he accuses the Twitter user of being stressed, having control issues, and anger issues with absolutely no proof.
Follow your peace. And he posts a picture, the person posts a picture of a dove. Now, I'm starting to get a picture of somebody who is extremely stressed to the max here, to the max. Okay? They're starting to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 2:24 in the morning on the 22nd. Control your words and your thoughts. Those in control feel free and joyful and are humble and do not exalt themselves. Is he having a control issue? Is he having or she having anger issues?
In the next clip, the Twitter user tweets about respect and refers to someone that doesn't respect you, but demands respect from you, as a narcissist. That a narcissist has low self-esteem, are usually bullies, and feeds their ego by trying to make others feel less than. The first thing McDonough does is try to prove he's not a narcissist. He's not a narcissist because his wife says so. Kind of in the same way a racist tries to prove they are not a racist by saying, because I have a black friend. Many people disagree with McDonough. They see narcissistic traits.
August 24th, 5:22 p.m. Why is it that people who don't respect you demand you? #respect them. So who's disrespecting him on the 24th? Nobody can demand you respect them. Chances are you are dealing with a narcissist. They have low self-esteem, are usually bullies, and they feed their ego by trying to make others feel less than. And there's the post. Appetites, accept, intimacy, inclusion, respect, recognition, fame, to be envied, stuff, more stuff, new stuff. So he's calling somebody a narcissist, right? I've been called a narcissist. I think my wife would disagree with you because, I'm not. I mean, I'll tell you, if I blew it, I blew it. Okay? It's that simple for me. Ask anybody that knows me, and that really knows me. Ask my colleagues.
4 o'clock in the afternoon and 4:18 in the evening? Huh. And, something is bothering the Twitter user? Again, it is none of McDonough's business who the Twitter user is. He does not have probable cause to obtain Twitter's records. Then, he insults the gender of the Twitter user. Where's the LGBTQ?
August 26, 4:18 a.m. So something's bothering this person because he's up at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then he's up again at 4:18 in the evening. People can think of me what they want. Well, why? Who are you? We don't even know who you are to think ill of you. The only person in your atmosphere, okay, is who? You haven't told us who you are. You've said, I'm not, this guy, right? But I don't know. This is really not complicated, but this person who has that account is wondering what people think of them. Well, thinks of him or her. What I think of me is what most important. Now that's narcissistic. And what other people think is none of their business. And he posted a picture of Homer. It looks like a male in that picture. Is this a male? Anonymous? Are you? You say you are. I don't know. That's really not a good reflection.
Is McDonough implying that if anyone gets up at any time other than 6 a.m. there is something wrong with them?
August 29th at 5:41. August 29th, he's up really early at 1:43 a.m., at 5:41 a.m., less than 4 hours. I mean, I'm retired. I can tell you what, I'm not up at 1:43 in the evening or in the morning or 5:41 in the morning. Actually, I get up every morning at 6.
McDonough implies the Twitter user is being deceptive, yet it is clear that it is McDonough that is doing the manipulation here. Quote, all this goes away, unquote. McDonough threatens the Twitter user that if he does not comply with McDonough's wishes, the harassment and bullying will not go away.
So it sounds like what I'm seeing a pattern here is this person never really, other than the initial play, what I'm seeing here is a pattern of deception through introversion, pulling back. Okay. Well, I don't know. Okay. An introverted, experienced law enforcement officer, especially one, such as yourself that has gone and done all the things that you've done. Okay. And, maybe you are, and I don't know, you're going to tell me, right? You're going to come on and, I'll apologize to you. I guarantee it. 100%, 200%. Okay. I'm going to have you on the show and I'm going to look right at you and say, dude, I blew it. Okay. I messed up. Okay. I guarantee it. Okay. No hidden agenda here. I'm saying it to the world again, just like you said that I'm doing. Okay. But I don't even know who you are. So I don't know who I'm saying it about, okay, at this point. Okay. I really don't. Okay. But you know how to fix that. Just call the FBI and say, hey, would you call this guy? This is me. Here's my badge number, ID number, and here's my agency. Call him. And I'll pick up the phone. Okay. But call the Denver field office, though. Okay. Those are the guys I want to talk to because I've already talked to them. Okay. If you could do that, I'd appreciate it. And all this goes away, full apology. In fact, I'll take everything down, 100%, guaranteed. Everybody's here to see it. Everybody's here to know it. Okay. No hidden agenda here. No hidden agenda.
I would like to know one of McDonough's victims that he has apologized to. He didn't publicly apologize to anyone after his account was reinstated. Then, McDonough implies that the Twitter user has come off the rails. One consistency I've noticed is it's like McDonough is looking in a mirror when he accuses the Twitter user of things like deception, etc. Is he seeing his own reflection of how his own mind works? Narcissism, deception, control issues, anger issues, off the rails, and alcoholism? The mind is like a mirror, whatever comes in front of it is reflected in it.
Today's another day. So get back on track and move closer to your dreams and your goals. You can do it. So this tweet sounds like somebody came off the rails.
McDonough makes it clear that to complain to Mr. Cooper of the Cold Case Foundation is to no avail. Quote, "It's not about guilt or innocence and never will be," unquote. Threatening, harassing, or cyberbullying of innocent people could cause a nonprofit's tax-exempt status to be revoked. Cyberbullying is a crime. Additionally, the legal ramifications, alone, of being notified and involved into mass cyberbullying with public knowledge and proof if someone is eventually seriously injured could be devastating. Lawyer, lawyer, lawyer.
Well, okay, if I'm wrong, then fine, I'll apologize. I'm wrong. Okay. But to who? Okay. I mean, this person today sent me an email from an encrypted server in Switzerland, an end-to-end encryption server in Switzerland. And by the way, this person also sent one up to the Cold Case Foundation, okay, which they've known me. I've known Coop since 1998, okay, and a lot of other people, right? I mean, we all do. Okay? Just my circle of influence happens to be Greg Cooper. And by the way, we used to be called the Institute of Investigative Science, and I was attached to that as well. So I'm not recent to the program.
McDonough includes Greg Cooper, Executive Director, and Francine Bardole, CSI of the Cold Case Foundation into his witch hunt. You know there is something seriously wrong when our tax dollars are used to cyberbully innocent people. I would personally like to thank McDonough for exposing the Cold Case Foundation for what it truly is. We really haven't come very far from the years 1692 and 1693 Salem witch trials and hanging innocent people. Mr. Cooper and Ms. Bardole jump right into crucifying the innocent Twitter user with absolutely no evidence of any wrongdoing.
And based upon former statements or previous statements that he's made, there is an issue here about control and the level of control that he has about his environment, his set of circumstances, and the management of those circumstances to his benefit, including problems. And while recognizing you have to go through it, it's also frustrating because you can't control everything. So he says, go with the flow or the fly. But it's frustrating for him, causing a lot of personal, most likely personal references to not just the frustration, but mental and emotional difficulties.
Ms. Bardole and McDonough, both, reference Ted Bundy in comparison to the innocent Twitter user. There is no other reason to reference Ted Bundy except to plant a seed of comparison into the minds of his followers.
Well, I'll tell you what, I had a real deja vu moment. I knew Ted Bundy, and he lived by me during his murders in Utah and elsewhere. And I can remember he seemed fairly normal, and he was very nice and got along really well. And he, again, was with a woman for about a year while doing this. And some of my thoughts are, is this his first rodeo? And the other thought is, he sounds like, I mean, I don't know Ted's mind, because when I would speak with him, he was very, engaging and smart and all that stuff you expect from a law student. But he never shared with me anything like this type of language or anything. This shows me that I believe he literally had these plans because he knew it wasn't going to work. And I would like to know more about his other relationships that he had prior to this relationship and what they were like.
And, I love the quote when Ted Bundy was representing himself. He says, Ted, you're so smart. I wish you would have practiced law in front of me and taking the course you took.
The viewers keep trying to tell McDonough and the others that the Twitter user is not Brian Laundrie, but McDonough absolutely refuses to listen.
So the question is, he's quoting pop psychology. He talks about wanting to be alone in nature. And a lot of Brian's quotes and a lot of Brian's thought process is very similar to this particular, Twitter chase here. Now, if it's not him, again, that I want you guys to see, well, first of all, how do we know it's not him? Number one. Everybody, folks are saying it's debunked. Great. Who debunked it? Okay. But if it is him, he's thinking a lot like Brian. Okay. If this Twitter guy is not Brian, then he has something, he knows something about Brian, because the type of information that we're seeing here is very consistent with Brian's thought process. So I'm seeing some folks in chat saying this account belongs to a guy named Steve. Okay. Well, how do we know? It's just, how many people make up accounts under different names all day long, but follow Gabby? Well, thank you, Jessica. I hope I'm not reaching, but if I am reaching, we'll find out.
McDonough claims the Twitter user injected himself into the investigation by posting comments on his Twitter account pertaining to the Petito case. I assume there is at least 500,000 of us true crime fanatics that has injected ourselves in the Petito case, in accordance to McDonough's ideology.
The moment you realize you forgot your can opener. And that looks like a middle-aged male at the campsite. I don't know if it's a fake and a fraud. Whoever's doing this on Gabby's behalf, I hope the FBI is watching, because this person, anonymous, has injected themselves into something that's pretty serious.
Quote, how does he know she died from domestic violence, unquote. How about the same way the majority of the population that knows about the case assumes she died from domestic violence? And, you think if the Twitter user is Brian Laundrie he would admit she died of domestic violence? Seriously?
Rest in peace, Gabby. Justice for Gabby. And all of the missing murder victims of domestic violence. Intimate partner violence. Find Brian. Find Brian Laundrie. Posted the FBI seeking information poster. That's pretty interesting. How does she know he died from domestic violence? She died from domestic violence.
Quote, if this is not him, we will nail that guy, unquote. The poor Twitter user is threatened. He's damned if he isn't Brian Laundrie because he refuses to expose himself to McDonough. Did McDonough call one of his FBI buddies to further harass the Twitter user? Is McDonough leaking corruption?
It's just kind of get a sense for, I lost myself in nature once, and that blank will happen again. Okay. If this is not him, man, whoever is doing this, we'll nail that guy.
McDonough states the innocent Twitter user is victimizing Gabby, because he merely commented about the Petito case, just like so many other people have. It's McDonough who is victimizing the Twitter user.
Making sure that if this is him, okay, then it's somebody who is really close to him, or somebody who is, in my opinion, should be, really take a look in the mirror, because you're victimizing Gabby. You're not victimizing anybody else, and that's not a good thing, right? I mean, this is a very serious investigation for this sweet little girl.
Is McDonough doing flawed online investigations for the FBI posing as a YouTube content creator? Is YouTube backing this? After all, YouTube reinstated his channel. Is this what YouTube wants to do to their user base? Do innocent people have to fear posting on social media?
Could it just be a fan of Brian? Can it be traced back to him? Yes, it can be. And I know the authorities have that, by the way. Okay. We know that they have it. So if you do own it, or if you think it's somebody trolling, they're going to get a knock on the door at some point by the FBI. So to do something like that in a high profile that's international, that's not a good move, man. That's not a good move.
McDonough realizes he has gained a large following. He subtly implants the idea to his followers to go to the Twitter user's account. Many of his followers harassed, cyberbullied, and threatened the Twitter user, just like they have other YouTube users. McDonough never once tells his followers not to harass the Twitter user.
I didn't take a screenshot of it, but when you guys are done here, I know there's going to be tens of thousands of people going to this and taking a look for themselves.
McDonough directs his followers to do his investigation for him, while he gets paid for it. This is the type of manipulation power he has over his followers. His followers are not just cyberbullying on the internet, they are acting out in real life, also.
So the first thing I want to do tonight is ask anybody who lives near or on or about the Appalachian Trail to immediately, if you have friends or anybody like that, over the next couple of days, let's load that thing up with trail cameras.
Quote, why are you counseling the family, unquote. Why are you counseling the innocent Twitter user, McDonough?
On the 25th at 9:30, when the dog knocks on your door, you should answer it. Hashtag Gabby Petito case. Hashtag Brian Laundrie. Hashtag Laundrie parents. Hashtag Laundrie family. Hashtag Laundries. And then they posted a picture of Dog the Bounty Hunter. This person or persons, anonymous. But why does the family, why are you counseling the family? Or somebody is, I don't get that. Why are you counseling this family?
The Twitter user did not create this image, nor did he create any of the other images that McDonough chastised him about. He merely shared or posted them like hundreds of thousands of other social media users have. Is McDonough the new social media thought police?
So why would somebody, a troll, put this type of photograph up?
McDonough is trained in the read technique.
Police are watching how you answer those questions, and they're making judgments based on the way in which you answer those questions. Because police are actually trained that deception can be detected by the way in which you answer questions, and that all it takes is proper training for a police officer to turn into a human lie detector. So let's take a look at some of these training materials that teach this behavioral analysis. This is a handout that is used by a company called John E. Reed and Associates. They're based here out of Chicago, and about 50 or 60 years ago, they developed a psychological interrogation technique that has since become the most widely used interrogation technique in the country. About 2/3 of all officers around the country are trained how to interrogate in the Reed technique. So let's take a look at this handout, because this is a handout that Reed uses to train officers about behavioral analysis. You can see here on the left-hand side, we have deceptive denials. These are phrases that people who are supposed to be lying use. Then here on the right-hand side, truthful denials. These are supposed to be indicators of innocence, of telling the truth. So let's take a look. I didn't take that money. That means you're lying. I didn't do that to her. That means you're lying. Look on the other side. I did not rob anyone. Well, that means you're telling the truth. I did not rape her. That means you're telling the truth. All right, let's keep going. These are some slides used by the president of John E. Reed and Associates during a presentation that he gave at the University of Arkansas about his interrogation techniques. And again, on the left hand, we have body language cues that are supposed to be used by somebody telling the truth. Right-hand side is cues that are supposed to be indicators of lying. So let's take a look. Truthful individuals: composed, concerned, cooperative, direct, sincere, and open. Kind of sounds like a Boy Scout. A truthful individual has open palms, maintains frontal alignment, don't turn that body, frontal alignment, and a truthful person makes smooth posture changes. Let's look over here, though, for lying. What means you're lying? Slouching means you're lying. Lacking frontal alignment means you're lying. Hand over mouth or eyes means you're lying. How about this? Can you read that? I don't know means you're lying. I can't recall means you're lying. Referring to God or religion, my God, I would have never committed this crime. That means you're lying. Now, if this sounds crazy to you, I think you're right.
When McDonough's YouTube channel was terminated, he blamed it on another YouTube content creator. McDonough refused to accept responsibility for his own actions. McDonough doxed the YouTube content creator on Facebook by posting an old mugshot from years prior. He encouraged his cult following to go after the YouTube content creator. McDonough's cult followers mass reported the YouTube content creator to Child Protective Services without any proof, for the purpose of harassment. While his cult wasted the CPS resources to harass, another child went without those needed resources. But they don't care. Quote, "Thank you all for being patient as we were recently attacked by some folks. We have been in contact with YouTube and are working with them. I will keep you posted here. Our family appreciates your help. This is evil over good." Here is the fugitive mugshot. Det Sanders, Plano Police 972-941-2212. Folks are also filing false reports that I am sure he will have fake comments attached to fake commenters. He's now claiming CPS calls, threats, fear. This has always been the playbook and has been doing it for a very long time. I have already provided an entire video to the PD showing his pattern. The picture below is public record booking photo unquote. There is no reason to dox this man other than to get McDonough's followers to cause him harm in the real world. McDonough's account was terminated because McDonough broke YouTube's terms of service, himself. McDonough is playing dangerous games with people's lives. Quote, "Hi everyone, if you see anyone slandering my name or threatening me, please report here unquote. Quote, "Hi everyone, thank you for hanging in there as we get things worked out. As you have already heard, we were hit with a coordinated troll attack that took the channel down as everyone complained at the same time. We have an appeal and hope to be back up soon. In the meantime, some others on tier fan page set up using my image have been harassing, buying, and saying nasty things. Please have folks stop doing that. I have always appreciated folks being there with us, but for now, I know you understand my footprint out there is getting nasty and outright dangerous. Let me show you. We made a decision for a while to slow down. We appreciate your understanding and hope you will be with us as we progress onward. CKD unquote. Again, we see that mirrored reflection in his mind. He called for mass reporting of anyone slandering or threatening him while he continued to slander and threaten others. Quote, "Please have folks stop doing that unquote." Exactly, how do you want your cult followers to stop folks, McDonough? What were you asking them to do precisely? McDonough's channel was not mass reported. The Twitter user reported him for all the threats, harassment, and cyberbullying. There is plenty of proof of what McDonough did to the Twitter user. McDonough admits he copied all of the Twitter user's posts. McDonough believes he has the right to fair use of the Twitter user's writings without consent, but no one has the right to fair use of McDonough's videos without permission. He feels he has fair use but no one else does.
And by the way, you can all go look at all of these. I don't know if Anonymous still has them up or not, but just in case, I have them all. And you're seeing some of them here. I hope some of you aren't streaming me live. If you are, okay, it's going to go away because you don't have permission.
As soon as McDonough was reinstated, he started striking videos for copyright violations. YouTube refused to take some of those videos down, stating the videos were fair use. McDonough may attempt to strike this video for the purpose of trying to dox me. However, this video is clearly fair use. If McDonough strikes this video, he better be prepared to file a copyright lawsuit in my jurisdiction. If he fails to do so, he will never be able to strike me again, because it will constitute harassment. You cannot keep filing copyrights and never follow through. Again, I will state that everything in this video is my opinion. Please, do your own research and form your own opinion. Further, in my opinion, Mr. McDonough is very transparent, meaning he is easy to see through. It is obvious to me that Mr. McDonough believes the rules apply to everyone except him. I feel that Mr. McDonough is playing dangerous games with lives of innocent people. He is truly not a nice person. In my opinion, he has no empathy for anyone but himself. I wish his following would realize who the real Chris McDonough truly is. If this video helps one person, then it was worth the time to make.